Since the early 1990s, logging operations have cleared over 300 million trees from Borneo. That represents a 55% reduction in historic forest habitat. This image captures the exact dividing line driving that collapse. On one side is natural forest, on the other, an expanding industrial palm oil plantation. To clear this land quickly and cheaply, developers intentionally set fires in the carbon-rich peatlands. When those fires push into the remaining rainforest, they threaten a primate with the slowest reproductive rate of any great ape. Young Bornean orangutans depend entirely on their mothers for 10 years, requiring constant instruction to survive. When adults are killed by human activity, the surviving infants are left completely stranded. In these rescue center portraits, you can see without their mothers, they miss the 8 years of jungle tutelage required to survive in the wild. Because these orphans lack basic survival skills, placing them in a reserve will result in starvation. Saving the species requires a highly specific, three-pronged scientific intervention: intensive surrogate education, massive landscape engineering, and aerospace monitoring. The first phase of this intervention begins at places like the Borneo Orangutan Survival Foundation. This is their outdoor nursery building. Inside, human surrogates act as mothers for infants aged 0 to 2, providing the physical therapy and emotional security required to begin exploring. Once they reach their second year, the infants transition to a 100-hectare outdoor classroom. Here, they learn quadrimonas climbing, using all 4 limbs to grasp and bend branches, allowing them to navigate the 3-dimensional canopy. Next, they face an intensive foraging curriculum. An orangutan must correctly identify over 500 different plant and insect species to maintain their calorie intake across changing seasons, while carefully avoiding toxic plants. The final behavioral exam focuses on physics and engineering. Every day, an orangutan must select and weave flexible branches to construct a complex sleeping platform, keeping them insulated against the weather and safely elevated above ground-dwelling predators. By breaking down a decade of maternal knowledge into a structured, tiered curriculum, biologists can replace the lost education. They take orphans and meticulously rebuild wild animals from scratch. But rehabilitating a primate is a wasted effort if their destination habitat looks like this. This aerial view shows a massive, jagged dead zone carved straight out of the surrounding rainforest, an environment entirely incapable of supporting a released ape. The Samboja Lestari project started with exactly this kind of landscape: 2,000 hectares of highly degraded land, completely dominated by an aggressive, highly flammable weed called along grass. To fix it, engineers utilized targeted silviculture, the science of managing forest growth. They prioritized planting vital food-bearing species like durian and rambutan to establish a reliable caloric base for the returning primates, and slowly reconstructed the canopy from the soil up. They also had to engineer a defense system against the island's severe El Niño dry seasons. By constructing artificial reservoirs and carving wide, vegetation-free fire breaks, they insulated the recovering soil from massive surface fires. Over 2 decades, Samboja Lestari has proven that biological collapse is reversible. With deliberate landscape engineering, humans can reconstruct a complex, multi-layered tropical ecosystem. Once an orangutan is released, biologists need to track their progress. Looking straight up a massive Bornean tree, you see the logistical nightmare of finding a silent primate hiding in 70 meters of dense overhead foliage. Standard consumer drones are largely useless. They have extremely short battery lives, and their acoustic vibrations disturb wildlife. The solution comes from aerospace engineering. Conservationists are now deploying long-endurance airships, large tethered blimps that can loiter over the canopy for hours, providing a stable, silent platform for heavy scientific instruments. While thermal cameras scan the forest floor for poachers' campfires, a downward-facing LiDAR sensor fires a grid of laser pulses to map the exact 3D structure of the trees. An AI model then automatically identifies orangutan nests, drawing targeted bounding boxes around them. By elevating ecosystem surveillance to the stratosphere, conservationists can monitor vast tracts of land simultaneously, relying on precise data rather than reactive guesswork. Through this multidisciplinary approach, hundreds of orphaned orangutans, like this healthy adult photographed confidently on the forest floor, have graduated the forest school and are currently thriving in secure wilderness areas. The massive silviculture effort is also working. The Samboja Lestari reforestation project has matured to the point where the dense new canopy is actively altering local weather patterns, drawing in 30% more rainfall and increasing cloud cover. Yet a massive socioeconomic challenge remains. 75% of these wild orangutans still live entirely outside of protected areas, putting them directly in the path of ongoing agricultural expansion. Securing their future requires integrating the local economy with the forest's survival. Initiatives like certified sustainable logging and community-run eco-lodges provide residents with direct financial incentives, proving that a living forest generates more long-term wealth than a burnt one. The Bornean orangutan is the keystone gardener of the rainforest, dispersing seeds across miles of terrain. By combining precise engineering with deep human empathy, we possess the tools today to reverse our most devastating errors and fully restore the incredible architects of this ecosystem.